talking health this hour, and then after 2 o'clock, we're marking Global Parent Day. Yes, of course, parents are amazing, but we're talking about how workplaces can support them better than just what the labour law might suggest. And also, if you're looking to get back into the workplace, talking about gaps in confidence and competence with a platform that's on a bit of a mission to help women in particular. So if you've got any questions, any challenges, you can reach us on 4001. It is estimated that millions upon millions of women worldwide are living with what was previously known as PCOS, but remain undiagnosed, misunderstood. Now the condition has officially been renamed PMOS, with researchers arguing that the old name focused too heavily on ovarian cysts and failed to capture the metabolic and the hormonal complexities. So we're looking at why that matters, some of the signs and symptoms that women shouldn't ignore, and of course what treatment looks like in 2026. We've got Dr. Nana with us today, OBGYN at Health Bay Clinic, and Georgie Ricks is with us from It's a PCOS Party advocate, and I have to say, someone who I think, well, Georgie, you maybe thought about changing your Instagram name a few weeks ago. So it's so lovely to have you both with us. Before we get to the medical side with Dr. Nana, Georgie, tell us a little bit about the beginning for you. When did you perhaps realise that something wasn't quite right with your health?
Hi, Helen. How are we doing?
Nice to see you.
You too. Lovely to see you. Always a pleasure. So I guess back with me when this all started was when I was 16 at a girls' boarding school, always thinking I was slightly bigger than my friends, even though I was playing lots of sport, and my cycles just completely stopped for 2 years. I also suffered with sort of not so much acne, but skin rashes and sort of hair growth. In sort of not so nice places. And yeah, it was something that I was diagnosed when I was 16. I was literally in the doctor's office and they told me to just go home and lose weight with no support, no education, literally felt, very lost and alone in it. And I was just throwing birth control at me, telling me that that was going to help regulate my cycles, which I now absolutely know it does not do that. It acts as a plaster over the wound, and actually, can sometimes cause more harm than good. So yeah, it was then went on to a bit of a wild 10-year journey, my own health journey. And then led me to reverse the condition, actually become obsessed with nutrition and realize that our women's bodies are not broken. We have just been brought up in an environment and a society that I truly believe does not give us the right support and education to understand what's going on.
And what I enjoy about not only the fact you call your account It's a PCOS Party, but this idea of helping other women feel seen and heard, and if they're not strong enough to advocate for themselves, that you're there to show them the way. We are going to talk about the medical side and some of the misconceptions that you've heard along the way as well, Georgie. But as I said, joining us from Health Bay, we've got Dr. Nana with us, OBGYN. And I thought of you immediately, Nana, because the headline was, PCOS has a new name. So it's now PMOS. But for anyone who's hearing either of those terms for the first time, would you mind explaining what it is and what is happening or indeed not happening in the body that might lead to a diagnosis of it?
Thank you, Helen, and thank you for the invite. So PMOS stands for Polyendocrine Metabolic Syndrome, and it's affecting approximately 1 out of 8 women worldwide. And it is characterized by the dysfunctional ovaries, the metabolic component, and the dysregulated hormone balance, right? The dysfunctional between your hormones. It's actually a very complex condition because you have on one side, you have the hormones. They are affecting, and it's not only the hormones from the ovaries, it's also the hormones from the hypothalamus and the pituitary gland, which is all affecting each other. And they are also affecting the insulin levels. So the insulin, this high insulin load, the insulin resistance is also a part of this syndrome. And then that falls back or give a drawback on all the other hormones in the body. And it is actually we know that it is genetic. There are some genetics in it. So we have identified 90 different variants of a variation on the genes. And it's also shown that if you have very close relatives with type 2 diabetes or even PMOS themselves, then you are disponated to get the condition.
And it's interesting there, thinking about the range of symptoms and severity, because a lot of people can go through life with it and not even realise.
Yeah.
There's a lot. I mean, I was diagnosed when I was in my 20s, and much like you, Georgie, was basically told, you're 25, you've got enough symptoms to have this diagnosis, you're probably going to find it hard to get pregnant. And to be told that at 25, when I was single and one day wanting to be a mother, was really, really distressing. And I think there's a lot of emotion attached to that diagnosis. Georgie, when you kind of look back, and I know you were younger, you were 16 and put on hormonal treatment then, what was that diagnosis journey like for you emotionally as well as physically?
Oh, for sure. I mean, back to you saying about the children, I was told by 3 doctors in Dubai when I moved there 11 years ago that I would never have children. And that was, I remember actually I was with a partner and I had to sort of, tell him, and it was a whole ordeal in itself. Mm-hmm. But, I just think it's an absolute liberty that doctors feel that they're allowed to say that to women when they actually haven't really got a clue. At the end of the day, if you have a uterus, if you have a womb, if you have ovaries, with the right support and care and understanding how to fuel your hormones, you can absolutely fall pregnant. I've gone on to freeze my eggs and I've got 12 in the bank. And, that is something that I genuinely thought back then that I had no chance of. And yeah, it just stresses me so much that we're in 2026 and I still have clients coming to me every single day getting the same treatment or not treatment, mm-hmm. and being dismissed and chucking birth control metformin at a condition that actually is incredibly fragile. Mm-hmm. It deserves, it's a metabolic condition. It is. And that's where I do agree with the name change, because it isn't just the ovaries. And that was completely, I spent my entire life telling women that it's not cysts on your ovaries, it's immature follicles because we're not ovulating correctly. But, it's a very complex condition, as Dr. Nana said, and it needs a holistic approach. It needs, to really understand your nutrition and lifestyle and stress. Stress is a big silent killer that I see in so many women now. The environment that we're all living in, it's just our little bodies and hormones can't keep up with it.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And I think there is, definitely misconceptions around it, but we haven't really talked about, Georgie mentioned there about her cycle stopping for a number of years and hair growth. And, Dr. Nana, tell us a little bit about some of the signs and symptoms, the questions that you would be asking if a woman was to come into clinic to be able to help her get the support that she needed.
So I think most ladies comes either as you in the teenagers with either a totally stop in the period or they come with an irregular period. It can be long intervals between the periods. That is one sign, which is very classic. And then they also come often with the fatty skin, the acne, and the hirsutism. Hirsutism is the excess hair growth on, for example, the upper lip, the cheek, the stomach, the inside of your legs. And then we start, of course, I think everyone deserves an investigation just to make sure how is the insulin level, how is your lipid profile, how is your sex hormones, how is the distribution of all those. And then after that, you need to have this holistic discussion, because we cannot just only treat with the medicine. Mm-hmm. So, the fundamental base is actually to try to motivate patients to change their lifestyle in the first place. And then you have to have close follow-ups. And then you have to do again, if it's not working for them, then you have to find some kind of support. And then we can talk medicine afterwards, because there are medicine, either if you want to become pregnant or if you are where you absolutely don't want a pregnancy, you just want a regular period, you just want to get rid of the fatty skin and the acne and the excess of hair.
What that really speaks to, Dr. Nana, is a curious and well-informed doctor. And I think for many women who might turn up, and it might have taken a huge amount of courage to make an appointment and sit face to face and talk about symptoms or have questions, and to be dismissed or to be handed a prescription and sent on your way. it's not helpful. So which is why conversations like this go an awfully long way. So we are going to talk about some of those lifestyle changes, as Georgie's saying there, diet playing a huge role as well. And if you'd like details, you can just send me the word connect. Dr. Nana is with us today, OBGYN at Health Bay, and Georgie Ricks from It's a PCOS Party on Instagram. Georgie, did you think about changing the name to PMOS Party, or was it just not worth the hassle?
I am still incredibly conflicted. I was actually in Korea, and I honestly had to take a seat on the side of the pavement, just having an almighty breakdown, because I was thinking one letter. I've built a business of 6 years, and it's more just the all the work that's got to go into it.
Who am I now? Well, we're glad you're here. We're going to talk about Georgie's
15 years.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
I think keep it. Well, that's how we know you, Georgie. Right. Any questions for the team, please do get in touch. I've had a message asking about weight loss injections being part of treatment. When is it worth having cysts removed? Sadia says, I don't have any of the symptoms, had no problems getting pregnant. So any questions, do get in touch. 4001.
Dubai Eye 103.8's weather check.
It's hot and sunny